Hey, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew, aka Booty Sweat, and last time I did a tier list video, you guys seemed to like it, so I guess I was just gonna do another one. So this time we're gonna do every single playable Mortal Kombat character. I believe this list is complete. If there's one or two that are missing somewhere, then I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments either way. But as far as I can tell, I think this is everybody. Again, this is all 100% my opinion. This is not necessarily based on how good they've been historically, like competitively or anything like that. This is all based on, various things that I like about a character, whether they're cool looking, their motivations, what their character is like, and all of that goes into play when I'm deciding what characters that I like personally in a fighting game. And so we'll probably disagree on a couple of things, but that's okay. This is just my personal list. And of course, you can disagree and leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. So anyway, let's get started. All right, so the list is in alphabetical order. So we start off with Ashra. Ashra is pretty cool. There's not a whole lot to say about Ashra. She was introduced in Deception. A lot of the 3D era characters get kind of a bad rap for being super lame or being terrible. I think Ashra is one of the better ones. I think that design-wise, she's a little bland, but her whole concept of her character is kind of cool. The whole idea that she's like a demon trying to ascend from being a demon, basically, so she kills other demons. Pretty cool concept, and she's actually pretty fun to play in that game too, so she's going to go in pretty cool. Next up, it's going to come as no surprise that I am going to put Barakah in Sick. He's my MK11 main, and he's pretty cool. He wasn't really on my radar before MK11, but I've gone back and played other games with him and kind of toyed around with him, and he's actually pretty fun in a lot of games, and I just think he's pretty dope, so he's going in Sick. Blaze is a big meh to me. He's not the most interesting character. He's not the most interesting final boss. I don't really care about him at all, so he'll go in meh. He's not bad. I mean, I don't hate him, but he's not anything special. Also, you've probably noticed down at the bottom I have guests don't count as a tier. I just didn't want to include guests because, I mean, RoboCop is one of the best movies of all time, so obviously he'd get to the top just by that. It's way too muddled to include guests, so they go in their own tier down here. Anyway, next up is Bo' Rai Cho. He's trash. I cannot stand Bo' Rai Cho. I've never been able to stand Bo' Rai Cho. I think he sucks. He's an obnoxious concept of a character. The Drunken Master character is interesting, and I like the idea that they introduced a master for Liu Kang and Kung Lao and all that, but the way they executed him, just with like the farts and the puke and all the dumb infantile humor, it doesn't resonate with me. Don't like it. Cassie Cage is gonna go in meh. She's not terrible, but she's not that great. I think there's a lot of missed potential so far with Cassie Cage. She could be a lot more interesting as like a middle ground between Sonya and Johnny Cage. As she is implemented right now, she's just kind of the LOL, I'm a millennial, I do selfies, and aren't I quirky and I drink Starbucks and chew bubblegum while I'm ripping people's eyeballs out. Like, it's just, again, it's like, for a lot of people I'm sure that resonates, but for me it just doesn't. So I think she's an interesting concept and she could be good. I just don't really like her as she is right now. Cetrion goes in trash. Cetrion, again, she's above Bo' Rai Cho, but I just think Cetrion is just so boring. Like, she's good in MK11, but even being good, she's really boring to play. Again, she's like the second ever playable Elder God in the series, and Shinnok is just so much better than she is. She's just lame. She doesn't really add anything to the story, to be honest. So, I don't know. I just don't like her. She goes in trash. Chameleon, he's pretty cool. I'm actually going to go ahead and put both Chameleons in there. I think the other one starts with a K, right? So she'll be... I think they're both pretty cool concepts. I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about them. They're just pretty cool. Cyber Sub-Zero, super sick. I think that Sub-Zero is going to be in that tier as well, spoiler alert, but Cyberized Sub-Zero is just a really cool thing that they did in MK9. I really like that a lot. I think all the cyborgs pretty much are going to go in Sick because they're all just really, really cool. And I'm actually going to put Sector above Cyrax because red is my favorite color, but I am going to keep Sub-Zero above Sector, and then I'm also going to probably put Smoke above Sector as well. Okay, next up we have Dagon. Dagon is trash. He's boring nonsense. Does anyone like Dagon? I don't know if they do or not. Spoiler alert, again, Tavin's going in the same tier. They're lame. I think Dairu has to go in here as well. Dairu is like such a boring concept for a character, and he has a really boring design. So All in all, Dairu is just kind of a wet fart of a character in general, so he's gonna go in trash as well. Darius, I'm gonna put him in meh. He's alright. He's not horrible, he's not good, he's just kind of there. In Deception, he's just kind of another guy that you can pick, and that's really all there is to him. The idea of him being like a freedom fighter in Order Realm, trying to kind of shirk off the fascistic nature of their government there, could be interesting, but again, they don't do anything with it. And you just beat him up in the story mode and then it's done. So Draman is, I want to put him on the lower end of meh. I don't think that he's awful, but he's not good. And there's not a whole lot else to talk about him. He's really fun to play in Deadly Alliance, but other than that, there's really not much to him that's interesting at all. But I don't hate him as much as the people that go in here. So he's just gonna go in meh. Devorah is pretty cool. I think Devorah is cool. I think NRS is pushing her a little too hard. I don't think that I like how she's become so central to the storyline and to the lore of the series. Just like she's the one who killed Jared, and they had her kill Scorpion. And spoilers if you didn't know that. And they had her kill this person. She killed Barakah and Molina, and it's like, okay, chill on Devorah. Like, she's cool, but you don't got to do all that. Aaron Black is sick. Aaron Black actually quickly became one of my favorite characters in the series. I don't play Aaron Black. I don't particularly like the way he plays, really, in MKX or MK11. I didn't really play MKX, but I don't really like to watch him in MKX either. But I think as a character, he's just so cool. He's an outworld cowboy. His voice lines are so good. Troy Baker does an amazing job bringing him to life. I think generally he's just a really, really sick character, and he's definitely one of my favorites in the series. Ferrator, again, meh, just kind of a wet fart. I think the concept of them is what keeps them out of trash tier for me, because they're really nothing in the story. Like, they're the most pointless characters, except for another one that we'll come across later. I think the concept for them as like a species, as like a symbiotic species, and you know, the little one gets bigger and turns into the hulking one and then gets their own little one. And the whole idea, like that concept of that weird little tag team and their like weird Mad Max kind of outfits and all that kind of stuff. It's an interesting concept, and it is definitely what keeps them out of being trashed here. But overall, not that good. Frost goes in pretty cool. These aren't, well, yeah, I'll try to put them in the best order that I can. If that's the case, then I'm putting Devorah over the Chameleons, and I'll probably keep Frost there. Frost is cool. I thought she was cool in Deadly Alliance, and I think she's cool in MK11. I know there was a lot of outcry over her because she became cyberized or whatever. I think that's neat. I think that her voice actor is horrible in MK11. I think it takes a lot away from her. But overall, I think she's a neat concept, and I like a lot of her moves and stuff. Except for the ones where her head blows up and she hits you with her head and stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Her head is stated to be the only organic part of her left. Why is she taking it off and using it as a weapon? She could take her arm off and use that as a weapon, or her leg or something. Probably just her arm. A leg might not be a good idea, but like, why are you using your grenade as a projectile using your head as a grenade and a projectile? It doesn't make any sense. I think her moveset can be really cool, but also really stupid. Fujin is sick. He's gonna go on the lower end. I don't think he's as cool as the cyborgs, but he's definitely really, really cool. MK11 made him super sick. He was already pretty cool before that, but I think that MK11 really solidified him as being a really sick character. I think that Garrus is actually gonna go up here, maybe? I don't like him as much as Devorah, but I really, really like Garrus. I think he's a cool character idea. He probably could have been in sick if he was a little, like if there was a little more to him in the story and that kind of thing. As he is, he's kind of boring, but just his whole design and the way he plays, he's just really, really cool. I really like him quite a bit. Goro is probably in my top 3 favorite characters in Mortal Kombat, the entire franchise. So he's definitely going in sick. He's gonna be in the top 3 for sure. Love Goro. Goro is awesome. They did him so dirty in the movie. That movie sucked so bad, but one of the worst things about it was how they did Goro. So definitely don't watch that movie if you actually want to watch a good movie. Anyway, so yeah, Goro is sick. Havoc is pretty sick as well. I don't think I like him as much as Fujin, but I definitely think he goes in sick because he's just really cool. I like the way he fights. The whole Chaos Realm idea is really cool. If you've ever played as him in Deception, his moves are like really weird. Like he like will crack his own neck back, like his head back and forth to like get buffs, and he like breaks his knees out from underneath him to low profile with a projectile. It's really pretty far out stuff, and I think he's really cool. Motaro is on the very high end of meh. I would put him in, you know what, actually I am gonna put him in pretty cool based on his aesthetic alone. The dude looks sick, right? That samurai armor and like the long silver hair, he looks dope. And he's actually really, really fun to play in Deception as well. So I'd say he goes in pretty cool, barely, by the skin of his teeth, because he is one of the worst characters in terms of actual characterization in that game. He is borderline Dairu levels of boring and pointless in that game, but he looks way sicker than Dairu. So Suhao is trash. He's the worst character in Mortal Kombat history, in my opinion. I'm not the only one who feels like that, but I don't even know what they were going for with that character. He shoots a laser out of his chest and he looks like he has jaundice. Like, I don't know who at Midway or whoever was like, oh yeah, Asian people are literally yellow. But I mean, look at him. He's like, it needs a liver transplant or something. I don't know. He's dumb. Forget him. Jackie is meh. I like her less than, I like her definitely more than these characters, but I like her a little bit less than Cassie. She's just kind of like a big nothing burger right now. Like she's just kind of there. As she is, she's just kind of Jax's daughter, and that's the extent of her character. So they didn't include Takeda in MK11, which probably would have given her some more characterization if she had a little more of a stake in the story, because, you know, Takeda's her love interest, and that would have added some more personal stakes. I know they tried to do the personal stakes thing with Jax, but as it came off, she's just Jax's daughter, and that's her entire character. So lame. She could be a lot better, but she could be a lot worse too. Jade is pretty cool. I think Jade is probably... I don't like Jade as much as Garrus. I think Jade's design overall is way cooler than her actual character. I think like the snooty British Adenian kind of grates on me after a while. She has this like real air of superiority, I guess, which is fine as a character, like as a character flaw or whatever. But it just kind of comes in and out randomly, and her characterization in MK11 is really weird. And yeah, overall, I think she's cool. She's pretty neat. And MK11's not my favorite iteration of Jade, to be honest. All right, so sorry I had to take a second to even Google who this goober is. This is Argus. I forgot completely what he even looked like. So yeah, Argus is going like, I don't know, somewhere around here, because I couldn't even remember his freaking name. He's these two guys' dad. I hope this is Argus. I'm gonna look like an idiot if it's not even Argus, but whatever. Nobody knows who the F that is. They know a little bit about him through some of the names of like Rain's moves and stuff, like the Argus Plunge. He's an Adenian god kind of guy. So anyway, whatever. He's lame. Jax is pretty cool. I like Jax. I probably like him better than Ashra. I think he just barely doesn't make it into sick, but he's like on the cusp. Jax is really, I mean, he's cool. Who doesn't like Jax? Jax is, you know, he's a mainstay of the franchise. He has the cool robotic arms. Everybody likes Jax. Johnny Cage goes up here too. I probably like him a little less than Jax, but I still really like him. Not much to say about Johnny Cage. He's like the comedic relief of the game while also being a complete badass. They didn't have to include a character like Dan or something from Street Fighter, who's the comic relief, but is also like a jokingly horrible character. Like his whole existence is supposed to be a joke. Johnny Cage is actually pretty good in most of the games he's in, so, and in the storyline he's really strong as well. So I think overall I like Johnny quite a bit. Cabal also goes in pretty cool. I think that he's overall a little bit edgelordy for my taste generally, but at the same time I think he's pretty neat overall. He's definitely got his little like snarkiness, and that kind of adds a lot of endearing qualities to him, I think, and makes me like him a lot more than I otherwise would. But also hook swords are freaking sick. And as we're going to see with another character, the hook swords can be basically the only thing that keeps you out of trash tier, because I freaking love hook swords. They're so cool. So he's going to go in pretty cool for sure. I don't think he's sick, but he's definitely really cool. Kai is garbage. Kai is trash. No one disagrees with me. Who likes Kai? I don't know. I've never met a single person in my entire life that liked that character. I'm sure they're going to flock to the comment section as if I have that many viewers anyway, but I'm sure the Kai defenders are out there, but I mean, Kai's the worst. Who cares about Kai? Kano is sick. I love Kano. He's definitely, I like him more than the Special Forces characters for the most part. I say for the most part, but I think actually 100% I like him better than all of the Special Forces characters. Yeah, I think so. So Kano is just, he's a staple of the series. I actually probably would bump him up above maybe Fujin. I like Kano more than Fujin, I think, which is probably blasphemy to a lot of people, but also I like Kenshi. I like Kenshi more than the cyborgs, to be honest. Kenshi is just edged out by Aaron Black, I think, but Kenshi is so cool. Who doesn't like Kenshi? He's a blind samurai swordsman guy who has telekinetic powers. He is one of the best things to come out of the 3D trilogy. Far and away, he's one of the best things to come out of that era of games. I don't think anyone would argue that every single 3D era character is horrible, because then they'd have to argue that Kenshi is horrible, and I think they'd be pretty outnumbered in that opinion. So he's definitely really sick. Kintaro is like, he's like less cool. I actually really don't like Kintaro that much, but so yeah, I'm just gonna put him in meh. I think I like him a little bit better than Blaze, and actually I'm gonna put Blaze pretty far down because I really don't care about Blaze at all. But Kintaro, I don't know. He's just less cool Goro to me. I understand that he can like breathe fire and stuff, but you know, through variations and things like that, they gave Goro the ability to do that too. So what's even the point of Kintaro except, oh, he looks like a tiger. Isn't that crazy? Except also Shao Khans are dragon people, so why do they have fur and look like a tiger? I don't know, whatever. Interesting, but I don't really like him that much. Kira is definitely trash. Kira probably goes about here. Bo Raicho's got to go way lower than this. Bo Raicho, I think, is my second least favorite character in all of Mortal Kombat. Kira's got to go down here somewhere. I don't really know where compared to these other garbage characters, but she and Cobra both are just kind of like, they were introduced in Deception, I think, as replacements for Kano and Sonya, and they're just awful. Like they do nothing in the story at all, and I think the only story they really even get is through their arcade endings, and they're just so boring. Like, she's just big-chested redhead in a corset, and he is literally just wearing a karate outfit. That's his entire character design. He's basically Ken from Street Fighter, except with no personality and like no moveset. So very, 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 very terrible characters. They were super like filler trash characters, you can tell. Katana is sick. I think she's probably on the lower end of sick. I think she's the Chun-Li of Mortal Kombat, and so you've got to put some respect on her name. And overall, she's just been a pretty cool character through the years, so she definitely goes in sick. Here is, I hate to do this. I absolutely hate to do this, but Collector goes in trash. No, he's gonna go in meh tier. The reason I'm gonna put him in meh tier and not trash tier is because I think his physical appearance and his physical design and some of his gameplay design are really interesting. However, he is one of the most pointless characters in Mortal Kombat in recent memory. What does he even do in the story other than just job and just kind of be there? Like, they introduce this character, they give him a really interesting design. The voice actor does a phenomenal job portraying him. He sounds cool. He has a cool concept where he brings little doodads out of his backpack to use during the fight. And what did they just made him this interesting character for what? For nothing. He does nothing to serve the story. The story doesn't serve him in any kind of way. He's just there, and that really sucks. So he's gonna go in meh, based on the fact that I mean, they kind of did him dirty a little bit, and he's not as cool looking as Hotaru, so he doesn't make it into pretty cool. Kotal Khan is pretty cool. I like his design. I don't really like, again, how they do him in the story. I think he just loses a lot, and he kind of comes off as a coward sometimes, and I think that's pretty lame. That said, I think overall his design and his gameplay makes up for it. The whole idea that there's this race of people in Outworld that look like Aztec gods is a really, really cool idea, and I think overall, he's just a pretty cool character as a result. Plus, he's voiced by Phil Lamar, so like, come on. Kung Jin is trash. I hate Kung Jin. He sucks. He's just like, he's not as bad as them. I think he's worse than Cetrion. He's far and away the worst of the combat kids, for sure. He's just really boring. There's nothing to him, and he's Kung Lao's cousin. That's literally it. And he uses a bow. Kung Lao is sick. I love Kung Lao. Kung Lao probably goes below Fujin. I think I like Fujin a little more, but Kung Lao is definitely sick. Again, a mainstay of the series, always has a really cool moveset, usually pretty good, and his whole like character concept of being kind of the second, you know, behind Liu Kang and kind of having that little bit of a chip on his shoulder and having the razor hat and all that stuff. A lot of things about his design make him really, really cool. Li Mei, I think, is actually pretty cool. I think a lot of people are going to be like, what? How could you? I don't think she's as cool as Kotal, but I actually like her a little bit better than Frost. A lot of that has to do with the fact that she's really fun to play in Deception, and honestly, overall, I like her concept. She's like a former slave from Outworld who, you know, broke free and managed to save her village and save her people, and she's like, you know, this kung fu artist and you know, all this kind of stuff. So overall, I think she's a pretty neat character. I think she could use a design overhaul because she looks a little stupid, but well, she doesn't look stupid, I shouldn't say. Some of her alternate costumes look stupid. Back when they were like really just trying to make every female character like have a lot of sex appeal even when it wasn't appropriate, and she really suffered from that, I think. But overall, she's okay, or she's a pretty cool character. Liu Kang is sick. Liu Kang goes like way up here. I probably like him maybe a little bit less than Kenshi, but I like him more than the cyborgs. Liu Kang is textbook. He's classic. He's the protagonist. He's a Bruce Lee stand-in, like all of these cool kind of things. His design is really cool. His character has always been cool. He's got like a he's not just like the silent protagonist like Ryu or anything, or generic like that. You know, he has a genuine love interest in Katana. He has genuine flaws as a character. He, you know, has things to overcome within himself, but also on top of that, he has he just oozes confidence because he knows how much of a badass he is. And I think overall that makes him pretty cool. I shouldn't say pretty cool, I think that makes him sick. Movado is meh, and he barely avoids trash because he has hook swords. So I mentioned that earlier. There was going to be a character who got out of trash tier by the skin of his teeth just based on having the hook swords. For those of you familiar with the series, you probably knew that was going to be Movado. It is Movado. Movado sucks. He's like the leader of the Red Dragon or something, who's the rival clan to the Black Dragon, and that's literally it. He's like an edgelord character that wears like long leather jackets and has hook swords. He's dumb. He's lame. Meat is kind of like, I'm gonna put him in meh just because he's kind of a joke character, right? He was originally introduced as a joke character, and that really is what he is. I don't think he's trash. I don't want to put him in trash tier because, again, he's a joke character, so I just won't. I don't want to put a joke character in trash tier because that seems unfair for some reason. Okay, Molina is definitely going to be, she is the cooler sister of Katana. I know a lot of people will be pissed off about that, but a lot of people will be really happy. I do think Molina is a little bit cooler than Katana. I think they're pretty neck and neck. I like them together. I don't like a game that has one and not the other. I think they need to be in, if one is in the game, they both need to be in the game. And they complement each other perfectly. I like Molina a little bit better. I think that's because she's my boy Barakah's mate, and I love me some Barakah. You know, I think I like her a little better, but it's not a whole lot better. Again, mocap, same deal with Meat. I don't want to put him anywhere else. Moloch is like, I like him better than Blaze, I think. But he's still like in this tier of, Movado still has to stay at the bottom of this tier. I think Moloch is just kind of meh. He's kind of there. He's a big monster Oni. He could theoretically be pretty cool, which is why I don't put him in trash tier. I think if he got like a redesign and he came back, he could be really, really fun and really cool. Motaro, I think he goes in meh, but you know, at this point, I don't even know where I'm putting him. Oh, by the way, Moloch is cooler than Draman, I think. I think Motaro is cooler than... I think he's cooler than Moloch. He's not as cool as like Goro, but he's a decently cool boss. I like the idea of the centaurs being these like weird outworld creatures that are really powerful. So overall, I think he's pretty cool. Nightwolf is pretty cool. I actually like Nightwolf probably more than Ashra. I think overall he's a really neat character. MK11 really did him well. They did him super well in that game. They made him cooler than he's ever been. I've always thought he was pretty cool. I liked playing him in Deception, but you know, and I liked playing him in 9 as well. But I think MK11 really, really is probably his best iteration in my opinion. Not necessarily competitively, but I like him in the game, like as a character. I like his Revenant skins. I think that's really cool. Overall, he's just a really neat character. So he's definitely goes in pretty cool. Nitara goes in pretty cool as well. I'll probably put her above the Chameleons, but maybe below Jade. I think the idea of like Outworld having vampires like that is pretty cool. I think that whole concept kind of elevates her. Again, there's not really a whole lot to her, unfortunately. And again, if you want to talk about a character that got done super dirty by the new movie, then she definitely would qualify. But yeah, I think she's pretty cool. Noob Cybot is sick. Everyone knows Noob Cybot is sick. If you disagree, you're wrong. He's probably up here. I think he's probably above the cyborgs as well. You can argue that, but if you argue he goes anywhere but here, then you're wrong. Onaga is pretty cool. I'm gonna put him toward the lower end of here just because we don't really see any of him. He's just kind of a boss that just kind of shows up. He's playable in Armageddon, but nobody likes that game. So, you know, overall, I just think that he's pretty cool. The idea of him being like the emperor before Shao Khan, and even Shao Khan is afraid of him and all that kind of stuff, kind of gives a little bit of an air of mystery and reverence to him. But otherwise, you know, he's just kind of cool. Quan Chi is sick. I love Quan Chi. Probably lower than Fujin, but I'd probably put him higher than Kung Lao. Just in my personal taste, Raiden is again in my top 3 favorite characters. Raiden is my 2nd favorite Mortal Kombat character of all time. So he goes in the top 3 for sure. He's the Thunder God. He's freaking sick. Don't at me, bro. Rain is really cool. I'm gonna put Rain in here somewhere. I'm actually gonna bump Ashra down to probably maybe like down here with Li Mei, because I think she is pretty cool, but I definitely don't think she's better than all these characters. Rambo's a guest. I missed him. Reiko is trash. Who cares about Reiko? Give me Shao Kahn or death. I would rather you just don't include either of them than include Reiko. You know, whatever for the Reiko fans. If he gets into a game, then I'm sure they're happy, so whatever. Reptile. Reptile is my all-time favorite Mortal Kombat character. I know I probably look kind of like a hypocrite when it comes to Reptile because he never adds anything to the story. He has always just been a jobber, but he has always been one of, if not the most fun characters in every game that he's in my opinion. And ever since I was a tiny child playing Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on my Sega Genesis, I have loved Reptile. So Reptile has a special place in my heart. It is a crime against humanity that he was not an MK11, but he'll definitely be an MK12. So let's hold out hope for that. Serena is really cool. She's one of the only cool characters that came out of Mortal Kombat 4, Quan Chi being one as well. I think I like her better than Nitara and these other goobers. So I'm definitely going to put Serena up there. I think her aesthetic is just really cool, like with the gray and white hair. And she's just pretty neat. I like her. Scorpion goes in sick. Anyone who argues otherwise is a liar. Scorpion is cooler than Kano, in my opinion. Where he goes in this tier, again, you might differ. But anyone who tries to tell me that Scorpion isn't sick, I mean, he's the face of Mortal Kombat. He's one of the coolest aesthetically, he's one of the coolest looking characters in the game, for sure. He always is. Anyone who's trying to tell me that he's not sick is just being a contrarian, in my opinion. He doesn't have to be your favorite, but come on, put some respect on my boy's name. He goes in sick. Shang Tsung also goes in, I think he goes in pretty cool. Yeah, because now I'm looking at it, I think I actually like Shang Tsung less than Rain, but I like him more than Cabal. Shang Tsung's really cool. He's not, I wouldn't put him in sick because I wouldn't put him over Johnny Cage or Jax, but I do think that he is very cool and I like him a lot. And him being played by Kerry Tagawa in MK11 is just like the most perfect thing that's ever happened. So great job NRS on making that happen. Shao Kahn is super sick. Shao Kahn is probably, I don't like him more than Aaron Black or Kenshi, but I might actually like him a little more than Liu Kang. Shao Kahn is the Khan of Outworld, 100%. Kotal can get crippled all day long because Shao Kahn belongs on the throne. Shao Kahn is so sick. He always has been and he always will be. Shiva is a big meh. She could be a lot cooler than she is, but she's just been so terrible in every game, and she's never been anything other than just female Goro. And in MK11, I feel like they tried to rectify that by making her queen of the Shokan, giving her more of a story significance with the Aftermath DLC, all of that kind of stuff. But the problem is the execution is just so off, in my opinion, with her. She's just so like boring and she sounds really dumb. You will suffer is like one of my least favorite voice lines in the entire game. I think it is so silly sounding. I think a lot of her costumes are really silly looking. And then of course there was the whole debacle with her stomp. And now that she doesn't have it, she's like the worst character in the game. So she was like the worst character in the game in MK9, or she was one of the worst characters. She's one of the worst characters, if not the worst character in MK3. I don't really know how good she is in Armageddon. I didn't really play that game very much, but overall she's just so, again, just a wet fart of a character that could be really cool if they did something better with her, but they just have really flubbed her in my opinion. Shinnok is pretty cool. I think I probably would put him, I think I would probably put him above Ashra but below Kotal. I think Kotal's design overall I like a little better. Shinnok's overall physical, like his aesthetic design, I think is really weird and it doesn't really do it for me, but I like him being like a necromancer and being an evil elder god and all that kind of stuff. I think his character concept is really cool and his gameplay is really cool in the games that he's in. So Shijinko is meh, but I actually like Shijinko probably better than Collector. Shijinko is not a bad character concept, and he was kind of their attempt at creating a new protagonist after the death of Liu Kang and Deadly Alliance. However, I think the execution was just a little bit off, and then they never did anything with him after that. So he's meh. He's all right. He's not bad. It would help if you actually got to play as him. In the Deception storyline, you play as him, but he absorbs other characters' fighting styles, and then you just play those characters. Like, he literally physically transforms into those characters. It's not like he just gets their style. He could have had like a base set of 2 styles like everybody, and his weapon style, and then in the story mode they just like, you know, like put all of those other styles on his frame or whatever, or like on his model, so it actually looked like he was the one doing the martial arts styles of the other characters. Instead they went the lazy way and he just literally kind of just transforms into the character physically and everything. So definitely missed a lot of potential with Shijinko. Went on way longer with Shijinko than I should have. Sindel is sick. I think Sindel is, I probably like her a little bit more than, let's say a little less than Havoc, but I actually probably like her more than Kung Lao, to be honest with you. Now, I've historically been a big Sindel fan. I really love playing as Sindel in Deception. She's super fun in that game. And in UMK3, she's really good. So I don't play her a whole lot in UMK3, but she's really good in that game. So historically, I've been a pretty big Sindel fan. I was really excited for her to come out as DLC. I don't really love what they did with her character in MK11, but as a character, like in terms of the way she plays and her aesthetics and stuff, it's 10 out of 10 in those regards. So she's definitely really sick. Scarlett is definitely really cool. I'm going to put her probably maybe above Devorah, but below Cabal. I think that Scarlett in MK11 is really cool. She's not sick. I wouldn't put her above Jax or Johnny Cage. MK9 Scarlett is the worst. People talk about how she got censored and they put a, you know, whatever, they clothed her all up in MK11. She looked like Betty Spaghetti in MK9. Like, something was off about her modeling where she was like too like limber, like she had noodle arms and it just looked really strange. And also her voice lines were horrendous in that game. So MK9 Scarlett was trash, but MK11 Scarlett, she's awesome. Her voice actor too is so good. I love the way she sounds. Human Smoke, probably actually one of my lesser favorite ninjas. I'm probably gonna put him in pretty cool, and I think I might even like him less than Jade, but I'll leave him above Serena. Overall, I just don't love his aesthetic. I don't like the whole idea of him like turning into smoke, and I don't know, it's something just doesn't do it for me. He's still cool. I mean, he's an MK ninja, so he's cool. But in my opinion, definitely not as cool as some of the other ninjas in the game. Sonya, I'm going to put probably in pretty cool somewhere. I think I probably like Sonya a little better than Jade as well. I don't like her as much as Garrus. I think Garrus is really cool. He kind of bumped a lot of people down that would have been higher on the list otherwise. But Sonya definitely is pretty cool. In MK11, she's a little boring, but traditionally she's just, I mean, she's sick. Like, she's sick in MKX, she's sick in MK9, she's sick in UMK3, and you know, all of the games. She wasn't in Deception, unfortunately, but except in the story mode, but in Deadly Alliance she's pretty cool. So Sonya just historically is a really cool character, so she's gonna go there. Striker is so trash. I cannot stand Striker. He's finally gonna take the place in the highest spot in trash tier. I think he's better than Cetrion, but he's just a cop. Like, he's just bleh. I just don't like him at all. Sub-Zero is definitely really cool. I think Cyber Sub-Zero is a little cooler, and I think I probably like Aaron Black a little better, and I think I like Kenshi a little better. I think I'd probably, Sub-Zero probably edges out Noob Cybot for me. Cyber Sub-Zero is way higher in my opinion, but he's still like, he's a sick character. He's probably my favorite of all the ninja characters besides Reptile, who automatically is the best, but I mean, Sub is up there. He's really cool. He's super sick. Takeda is pretty cool. He's the only one of the combat kids that gets out of meh tier. Takeda is actually really cool. I think a lot of it has to do with his design. He looks really cool. I kind of dig his personality a little bit, and I like his ties with the Shirai Ryu, and I really like his weapons that he uses, kind of those long chains that come out of his forearms and stuff. Those are really neat. And so I actually probably would bump him up here above Devorah, to be honest with you. I think Takeda is really cool. Tanya is also really cool. She's a classic 3D era female ninja. I think she's a little cooler than Frost, but she goes toward the bottom. But she's still pretty cool, you know. She just kind of is. Trimmer is pretty cool as well. I didn't really play MKX that much, so I can't really speak on him that much. But I think aesthetically, he's actually pretty neat. So, and I know he was asked for a lot by fans before that, so you know, he's cool. He's just gonna go there. I don't have a lot else to say about him. And then last but certainly not least is going to be Ermac, who I think I actually would put him between Sub-Zero and Noob Cybot. I think I like him better than Noob Cybot, but not as much as Sub-Zero. But Ermac is sick. Like, what else to say about Ermac? He's one of the original ninjas in the series. I mean, I guess not really. He was in UMK3 as an unlockable character, but really cool, made up of a bazillion souls and has telekinetic powers. He's my favorite color, which is red. That's the whole reason Sector beats out Cyrax, is because he's red. I do actually genuinely like Sub-Zero and Reptile more than Ermac. I mean, he's the red ninja, and red's my favorite color, so yeah. So anyway, that's gonna do it for the list. I think that's every character, and yeah, so feel free to disagree all you want in the comments. I will definitely read it. That's not sarcasm, I genuinely will. And yeah, so I think the vast majority of the characters in Mortal Kombat 11 are either sick or pretty cool. And then some of the meh are like, kind of could take them or leave them a little bit, but there's not a whole lot of characters in Mortal Kombat that I don't like. Looking at this tier list now, it's definitely weighted towards sick and pretty cool, so yeah, let me know what you think, if you agree, disagree. Again, if you made it to the end of the video, this is going to be a long one, but it was literally every character in Mortal Kombat history, so it was destined to be long. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Make sure that you like and subscribe and do all of that stuff. All right, have a good one. Be blessed.